going to do is tell you a little bit about how I discovered meditation. It started with shoplifting, as a matter of fact. How many of you are familiar with Ram Dass? Baba Ram Dass, okay, the great guru. All right. So when I was 15 years old, I was going through a pretty rough time. To give you a little bit of a background, I was first hospitalized for acute anxiety and panic disorder when I was 8 years old. I was having huge outbursts, violent outbursts, and my family didn't know what was going on. And the only thing they knew to do was to bring me to the emergency room. So I was placed in the psychiatric ward and put under observation. And obviously, an 8-year-old is doing that. She's coming from a very chaotic background. So my household was a broken household. I lived in abject poverty, the kind where I know what it's like to feel very hungry, to not know if the electric's going to be on or not. And that marked the whole beginning of my life. So after that hospitalization, I was in and out of psychologist's office, psychiatrist's office, therapists. I became suicidal at the age of 10, and I was put in a group home for the first time for 30 days. I had severe social anxiety, crippling social anxiety, where I missed school in excess of 40, 50 days a year. Which is interesting for me to say now, to tell that story, because I'm here in front of you, and I speak on big stages, and I travel, and I've written books, and I've been teaching how to find bliss for so many years. It almost feels like that was someone different from me, another person, but it was me. And I tell you this because I want you to know that if I could find this for myself, then it's absolutely possible for anyone to find it. And that is the core philosophy of my practice, that if it's not for everyone, if it's not accessible to everyone, then it's really for no one at all. And that is my core philosophy when it comes to spirituality as well. So sometimes we see, I'm a Hay House author, so I hang out with a lot of really amazing people on a regular basis. But even though they're my friends and I love them so much, sometimes I find their teachings very heady or esoteric and inaccessible to someone like me, say a regular girl from New Jersey. And I used to think that if I couldn't understand it, then it wasn't for me. So fast forward to age 15, I was working in a used bookstore with my mother. I was helping her to clean it up and move it to a new location. And I was struggling. I was in my first abusive relationship. I was in a relationship with a boy who was abusing me physically. And I was very depressed. And I was looking through the books, and I saw this purple book with this mandala. I didn't know what it was at the time, but this design on the cover. And I took it. I stole it because I didn't have the money, and it was something I really wanted. And I really didn't have someone telling me right from wrong at that time. It turned out to be Here Now by Ram Dass. And I took the book home and I devoured it. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. The hand-drawn images and the typeface that he drew himself. And I really think that there was something magical in that. When it comes from someone's hands, it translates, that energy translates from the page and went right into my heart. And I had a prayer practice before that, because even though my home was chaotic, we did go to church, and I did have a relationship with God. But my prayer practice was all about outward. It was, please God, save me from this pain. Please God, tell me the answer. But what Ram Dass taught me was that the answer was inside me. So I started practicing prayer inward, looking to myself for answers. And that began my meditation practice. So every day from the time I was 15 years old to now I'm 40 now, I have practiced meditation as inward prayer. I have to fish something out of my purse real quick. So this is my book. You Have 4 Minutes to Change Your Life. It's published by Hay House, and you can find it wherever books are sold. I want to share with you my definition of meditation. Yes, I see you. I recognize that you're a thinking, feeling person, and I'm here to listen. That's the essence and magic of meditation, the gift of telling yourself that you matter and that you're worth time and attention. No pomp, no circumstance, no rules. Just showing up for yourself with compassion and without judgment. When this is your practice, meditation can serve as a mirror and the lighthouse that leads you home. So when I go into meditation, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my practice and how it's really easy, and it's not about many of the things that you've probably heard about meditation. When I go in, it's about checking in with my intuition, my inner God wisdom, and allowing that intuition to speak to me and to help me to practice divine discernment. Divine discernment is something that I talk about a lot. It's our ability to determine for ourselves what's right and wrong, or which way to go, or what to say yes to and what to say no to. And that's all it is. So checking in with myself. So from the people that I teach meditation to, I hear a lot of the same things when they say why they haven't done it yet. They think that meditation is about thinking about nothing. Okay, so I have 5 children, ages 20, almost 21 down to 4. I'm always thinking about 17,000 things at every single moment. So if you told me I had to think about nothing, I'd be out. You would lose me right there. So for me, meditation is about checking in with what's going on in the moment. So if it's 17,000 thoughts, okay. Give yourself permission to think those thoughts. Thank them for showing up. Have a conversation with yourself about the thoughts. So if it's the grocery list, all right. Thank you, grocery list, for showing up. Thanks for that reminder. But I'm sitting here right now, so I'm going to deal with you in just a little while. Or if it's about an argument that I'm having with someone, all right, let's explore that a little while. What am I feel? How does that feel in my body when I think about this argument? So it's less about clearing your mind and more about focusing on the things that are showing up. Because you know when we try to push things out, what happens? What we resist persists. So I never fight anything that's coming up for me. I never fight a feeling. I never fight a thought. I thank it for coming, and then I say, I'll check in with you later. People think meditation is about spirituality. Now, I'm speaking to a unique crowd here, so everyone's really down with the spirituality and the spiritual journey. But maybe you don't know exactly what you believe yet, or you're still on your journey, or you don't feel connected to a specific philosophy. Doesn't matter. It's just about sitting down, getting quiet, and being with yourself. Or they think it takes a lot of time. So the title of my book is You Have 4 Minutes to Change Your Life. And that's exactly how I practice meditation. In little stolen moments, just to connect as chapter breaks of my day. Because if you told me I had to sit down, and I love this practice, and if you can do it, God bless you, keep doing it. But if someone told me I had to sit down for 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night, or an hour on a pillow, I'd be like, come to my house and watch my 5 kids, and then I'll do that for you. Then I'll do it. But usually my meditation happens in the laundry room or in the driveway. For a long time, my kids didn't even know what I was doing, because I would come home from an errand and I would just sit in the driveway for a few minutes, and their faces would be pressed up against the window, like looking at me, and I would just be in the car. What's Mom doing? I was meditating. And what I do in that moment, and this is the entire essence of my meditation, I get still as I can. Because I still have anxiety. I probably always will. I don't know if there's a cure. Doesn't matter. I'm managing it. I'm living with it. So I get still. I close my eyes. I check in with my breath. Here's a magical rule of the universe that I want you to remember. Once something is observed, it changes on its own. So I don't even make myself breathe deeply. I just say, I'm just going to watch my breath right now, see what it's doing. My breath is an indicator of how I'm feeling, what's going on in my body. So I'm just going to let it speak to me. I follow my breath in through my nose, down the back of my throat, filling my chest, my belly, falling down into my seat, swirling around, and then coming up again through my nose or my mouth. That right there is a meditation. That focus on that single breath cycle. That cycle that has a beginning and an end. Right there, I have taken myself out of whatever chaos is going on around me. And I brought myself back to the present. So I'm like, all right, this is going okay. I'm going to do this again. And then I follow the next breath. And the next. Sometimes if I'm really dealing with something hard, I'll make up a mantra for myself that is based on the truth of the moment and not the lie that my anxiety is telling me. So this is super easy. So I might go into meditation thinking, my kids are driving me nuts today. I can't handle this. I'm going to break down. I can't do this. What is the truth of the moment? I'm safe. I choose to be here for myself. My kids are safe. I choose happiness in this moment. And that's it. What are the truths of the moment? And I want you to practice that too. Whenever negative thoughts, I don't even like the positive and negative, but whenever thoughts that feel worrisome to you or they're agitating you start coming up for you, remind yourself of what's also true. If the only mantra that you take away from this today is and, that word and, one word, then you have a wonderful practice. So the and is, my kids are driving me nuts and I feel like I'm about to explode, and and I'm safe and I'm calm and I choose to be here. I'm healthy and I'm strong and the sun is shining. My kids are still driving me crazy and I can hear the birds singing. And nature is available to me and beauty is available to me. So my practice is, life is hard. I'm not going to lie. I've seen a lot of ugliness and I've suffered a lot of abuse in my life. And all of that was absolutely real. I am not one of those spiritual teachers that are going to tell you that it was your imagination that bad stuff has happened or that bad stuff is happening. That's called spiritual bypassing, and I don't buy into it. Life is hard. Life is suffering. It's also beautiful. And the sun is shining, and the birds are singing, and the sun is coming up. That is my spiritual practice and what I want to offer to you. So my meditation practice is not about going somewhere else. It's about being here now. It's about understanding the truth of the moment. It's about centering yourself in yourself, connecting to that intuition. And the next thing I want to talk to you about, because I can talk forever and I'm running into the end of time, is intuition. Because a lot of times if people have suffered a lot at the hands of people that they love, or they've suffered just because the world is a rough place, or they've suffered because they've made some poor decisions. I've done all of those things and experienced all of those things. It's really hard to trust yourself and to trust that intuition. So I want to give you a little practice, little lesson that's going into my next book. So if there's any parents out there, if you love people who are parents, my next book is called Managing the Mother Load. It's going to be out next year with Hay House. I'm really excited about it. But there's a lesson in there about training your intuition. And I want you to imagine your intuition as this for just a moment. Picture yourself as a little girl or a little boy in class, like kindergarten class. If you just started out, you're a beginner, and you're very excited about being in school and participating and learning and sharing. And the teacher up front asks a question. And it could be, why is the sky blue? And you're so excited to answer your intuition. Teacher, the sky is blue because every morning God paints it blue with his beautiful paintbrush. So the teacher, I don't know, maybe she's an atheist, who knows? She's like, all right, no, that's not why. And then she moves on to the next child. How does that little girl or that little boy feel? How likely are they the next time the teacher answers a question to raise their hands? They won't. They feel defeated and rejected. Wrong. So imagine your intuition as this little child, and you go into meditation and you ask yourself a question or a thought comes up. I want you to approach every single thought, every single feeling, every single answer to your question like this. Teacher says, why is the sky blue? Intuition raises her hand and she said, because God paints it with a paintbrush. And even though you know, like, or maybe you don't believe it, you go, that's interesting. Tell me more. Tell me more. How'd you get that answer? Okay, get curious. Curiosity over judgment every time, in every space of your life, with the people that you love, with the thoughts that come up, the feelings. Curiosity over judgment. So you say, tell me more, and the next time you go into meditation and you ask yourself a question, your intuition goes, I have an answer. And the next time it's, I have the answer. And then the next time, before you're even done with the question, it's like, I got it. I got the exact right answer. I know exactly what you have to do. When you approach your own inner wisdom, your intuition with curiosity over judgment, it trains it to speak up louder and faster and with more confidence. So now, I mean, my husband might disagree with me, but now when I ask myself questions about what I should be doing in any circumstance, I get the answer right away, and it's always right. I'm 100% right 100% of the time, right? Because I have trained myself to know what is right and wrong for me, what feels good and what doesn't. I've set proper boundaries for myself to only ask myself to be kind, to answer with compassion, with love for my journey. So I go into meditation. It only takes me a couple minutes. What should I do here? Bam. Should I buy this? Yes. And it feels good, and it feels nourishing, and it feels real. Because I trust myself to give myself the right answers. Because I've trained that intuition. So, in closing, 20 years ago, I was someone who suffered from debilitating anxiety. The deepest, darkest depression. I wanted to end my life. I didn't want to be here. It was hard for me to go outside to the grocery store, to call and order a pizza. I had such crippling social anxiety. And I'm not cured. It still comes up. I still get nervous from time to time. I still doubt myself. But what I have now that I didn't before is a trust and love for my intuition. I have a practice that every single day without fail, I check in with myself. And I ask myself, is this right for me? Is this wrong for me? Does this serve myself, the people I love, and the greater good? And I allow those answers to be real and true. I don't doubt them. I don't judge them. I treat them with curiosity and love. And I call them in. So when I say that meditation is a mirror and the lighthouse that leads you home, that's what it's been for me. It's the lighthouse that led me home to myself. And then in turn connects me with the collective consciousness and all that is, and all of you beautiful people out here. So that's what I want to offer you today. If you don't do meditation, or if you do meditation that you look at I can't really sit here and be quiet again, this sucks, and when is this going to be over, which I sometimes do. But if you are looking at meditation like that, instead look at it as a way to say, hey, I see you, I love you, you deserve my time and attention, and I'm checking in just to make sure that you're all right. Like, you okay, sis? You okay, brother? And then just move on with your day. And do it 50 times a day, or 1 time a day, or whatever feels good for you. And that's it. Thank you so much for listening.
Hello everyone, it's Bex here, and I'm back with another video in my series, You Have 4 Minutes for Meditation. Today's meditation is another one by request from my Facebook group. If you're not in it, click on that link in the video description to join me in the Bliss In community, and it is for prosperity and abundance. The inspiration for my meditations comes from all over the place.